second thing I want to look at is chapter 18 of 1 Samuel. Let's look at verses 1 through 4. Let's look at covenant of friendship. So 3 areas tonight. The covenant promises power, the covenant of friendship, and then we'll just look at covenant means no excuses. All right? So let's look at the friendship. Let's read together verses 1 through 4 of chapter 18. Now when he had finished speaking to Saul, the soul of Jonathan was knit to the soul of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own soul. Now you can imitate that in marriage. This is a good relationship they have between each other. Saul took him that day and would not let him go home to his father's house anymore. Then Jonathan and David made a covenant, so it's a covenant of friendship, because he loved him as his own soul. Look at what was involved. Now these are some Hebrew customs, so we'll kind of interpret that based on how the Hebrews would look at that. But verse 4, Jonathan took off, number 1, he took off his robe, and then it says that was on him, and gave it to David. And then with his armor, even to his sword, and his bow, and his belt. So then David was able to go out and behave wisely. Now, one of the things you find in a covenant of friendship, which obviously a marriage could also be, put into this too, is the removing of the robes or the tunics, and then they exchanged them. So they exchanged their clothes. Symbolically to the Hebrew, that has to do with, it represents, the other person wearing it. And as a result of that, it's I'm giving to you my total self. I'm giving you my total self. I'm entrusting you with myself. And that's basically what you do in any kind of good relationship, friendship, and especially in a marriage relationship. It's saying very well, from the Hebrew custom, we're now one. We are now one together. I put on you, and you have put on me. Second thing is the belt. So the belt that actually held the weapon or the sword, they take that off, put the sword aside, and they exchange those. And they are now giving to each other the strength and the ability to fight. In other words, when you're weak, I'll be there for you. When you're weak, I'll be there for you. And so the covenant says 2 partners compensate for each other's weaknesses. I'll cover for you when you're weak. You cover for me when I'm weak. So that's a covenant of friendship. And then that, of course, adds strength to the relationship. When you think about it, what we lack as individuals, 2 are better than 1. All right, you've got somebody else to help you out. The third thing that is the exchange of the actual weapons. And that's saying your enemies will be my enemies. A little bit of taste of Ruth and the love she had for Naomi. Your God, my God. Your people, my people. Even the enemies, obviously. Your battles will be my battles, okay? Whatever you're going through, I'll go through it with you. And whoever takes you on, takes me on. And that's the way the relationship goes. So covenant promises power. Covenant also promises friendship.